It is a packed house here at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Better than 35,000 turning out for Game 3 of this best-of-7 between the Los Angeles Lakers and the San Antonio Spurs. Marv Albert, Lazar, Mike Fratello, Jeff Van Gundy, D. Lynam were just about set to go. A look at tonight's Circuit City starting lineups. The Lakers with one change. Robert Horry will start instead of Samaki Walker, and David Robinson makes his return tonight, playing for the first time since Game 1 of that opening round series against Seattle. He's back from the back problems. How much he'll play remains to be seen. The officials, Bennett Salvatore, Ed F. Rush, and Ken Mauer, and we're underway as Derek Fisher of the Lakers controls the opening tip. And Czar, suddenly there have been concerns about the Lakers. This is a team that has not looked particularly good for the first 5 games of postseason, that is by Lakers standards.
Yeah, but the problems start with the man in the middle, Shaquille O'Neal, and those are all medical problems that we're talking about. The arthritic toe on his right foot from the beginning of the season. Left forearm has 4 stitches when Spider-Man attacked him and his children. Then we know his right finger, right there, you can see the bandage on it. He has 7 new stitches in that right finger, which he hit on the rim. And then he turned his left ankle, second quarter last game. He's banged up.
And you can sense that Phil Jackson is trying to prod his man Shaquille O'Neal as Kobe Bryant misses. Shaq tried to stuff it, and the ball back to San Antonio. Phil saying we had a heated discussion the other day regarding the playing time and the fact that he'd like to see Shaq a bit more active. Now, Jeff, what do you look for the Lakers to do to make an adjustment on Tim Duncan as we see Tony Parker spinning his way and is able to hit?
Well, Duncan was great again last game, except he had 10 turnovers. They need to do a better job against the double team with Duncan. He needs to be more patient. They need to space the floor better so he has better passing options.
Foul before the shot attempt. Rick Fox took the hit from Bruce Bowen.
And that could be called an offensive foul right there. He reverse pivot, faced the basket, and when he pivoted, that's when he bumped off the defensive player who was trying to come around from San Antonio. That time, Fox got away with the call.
And what the Lakers would like to change, their weak first quarter offensive output that has really hurt this team in the playoffs. They're averaging under 20 a game in the first quarter. That goes back to the series against Portland. And Kobe Bryant is able to hit.
We see right now that Phil Jackson has made a couple of changes in the alignment on the floor of his people, where he starts the basketball, where the ball winds up entering the post from. Cross the ball to the other side of the floor, then try and get it into the post.
Steve Smith, who's been played very well by Rick Fox, was fouled on the play in three-point territory.
Fox is closing out on the shooting hand right here, and you see him get a piece of the hand besides getting ball.
Steve Smith in Game 2 Tuesday in Los Angeles attempted only 4 shots, 2 of 4 overall for just 7 points. And you got the idea he was affected by the play of Fox.
They got into it too much. Smith has just got to do what he does best, not worry about trash talking, just try to put some points on the board. They're going to need an offensive output by him.
Let me ask the first question of the night. Yes. Why the change in the starting lineup? Why are we seeing Robert Horry instead of Samaki Walker?
I think it's for 2 reasons. 1, more experience in the playoffs. 2, stretch Tim Duncan away from the basket more because they are very concerned, the Spurs are, about his ability to make the three-pointer. Now that gives O'Neal more room on the inside to try to get off.
How about one more thing? Remember last game we mentioned that Danny Ferry was getting into Horry's mind. By starting him, they now don't match up against each other when Ferry comes off the bench onto the floor.
As Phil Jackson felt that Robert Horry was having problems with Ferry, who moved in a bit closer and was taking a 2-point shot rather than the 3. He's struggling with that wrist problem. Kobe is fouled by Parker.
The Lakers are playing to start this quarter off with much more energy. O'Neal has a tip even though he misses it. Down here, Robert Horry chases down the loose ball. Their just whole disposition is much different than quarter one of the first two games.
You hear about body language. You can see it in their body language tonight coming out. That was an exclamation point that Shaq was trying to throw down on that first field goal attempt.
Here's Bryant. And Duncan on the rebound. Lakers just 1 of 6 from the field here at the start.
Now, this doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but who knows as Tony Parker launches a three, who knows if David Robinson just being in front of the rim last time affected Kobe Bryant's shot.
Shaq trying to get position on Robinson. Pulls right through him, and the crowd looking for a foul. Now remember, Shaquille O'Neal grew up here in the San Antonio area, played his high school ball in San Antonio, and for whatever reason, it's hard to believe many of Shaq's stories, he claimed at one time that when he was a kid, David Robinson blew him off when he asked for an autograph, and as a result, he has played very well against David Robinson.
Well, it's tough to stop a man that way. When he decides he's going to the basket this way, he goes over, through, and scores against David Robinson. Very easily could have been called an offensive foul.
So much depends on how much contact they're going to allow him to create offensively. Depends on how well they're going to score the ball. He's impossible with that much contact allowed.
Foul was called on Rick Fox, his second. Duncan. The early shots by Duncan seem to mirror what took place in game one, not getting the same kind of shots that we saw in game two. Bryant not able to hit. And here comes Parker, but the Lakers get back. Kobe is now 1 for 5. And you can see Bryant all over Bowen in that left corner, not giving him the shot from downtown. Duncan, a lot of contact. Robert Horry tried to draw the foul, but no call.
They're playing single coverage to start the game, so Duncan's got to be very assertive and decisive in his moves. Great counter move back to the baseline.
Evan George coming on for Rick Fox. Spurs with a 7-4 lead. We played 4 minutes. Fisher on a quick release. And last touch by the Lakers.
Jeff, you mentioned last time down, Duncan needed to go quick because they didn't come and double team. Well, Phil Jackson, when he was in Chicago, would normally play a defense a certain way in the first quarter. Then it wouldn't be unlikely for him to change up in the second or third quarter. So as this game goes on, I know Duncan doesn't think he's going to get the same look the entire night.
Smith putting the move on George, and rebounded by George.
I like the idea of going to Steve Smith in the post early in the game to get him involved, particularly against the Devin George matchup.
Shaq hearing it from this crowd as he goes glass. And it's San Antonio by 1.
He was very upset that he was 7 for 16 from the floor last game. He said, if there really is anybody that can hold me to 7 for 16 shooting, that finger is really bad.
Bruce Bowen hits the 3 from the other side, the right-hand corner.
That's a great sign for San Antonio. Any points he can give them are bonus points. It's going to help them get up to the number they need to win.
Bowen 3 of 4 from beyond that three-point line in game 2, and a foul. It's on Robinson. That's his first.
Well, I'm starting to talk about Shaq's finger. They initially in that right index finger, as David Robinson receives a standing ovation here for his minutes on the floor, coming back and giving him about 5.5 minutes in his first appearance. But Shaq had 4 stitches in that index finger initially. They had to take him out and redo it. They put 7 in this time. It is right on the seam, the first seam down from the top of your index finger, the worst spot it could be on that finger.
Derek Fisher knocks down the 3. Spurs with a 10-9 lead. Malik Rose, who was so effective in game 2, has come on for David Robinson. Malik did a terrific job off the boards, particularly at the offensive end in the final minutes. Parker for 3. He was uncertain, then took the shot, and the long rebound fielded by Bowen.
They played pick and roll that time with Steve Smith. A little bit unusual to put him in the pick and roll.
Now Duncan being played by Shaq with some help. Here's Rose showing confidence. That was a Tim Duncan type shot. Going glass. San Antonio up by 3. Series tied at 1. They'll play game 4 here in San Antonio on Sunday. Robert Horry with a fadeaway. Whoa.
That is one tough shot. Lakers really got nothing going. They tried to run their offense, a little wrinkle that they've added, okay, in the day off to their sets, a little replacement movement into the same side of the floor. They're just a cutaway.
Oh, Parker gets credit. It's a goaltend. Beautiful penetration by the 19-year-old rookie point guard, Tony Parker.
What I liked about that, he passed up that previous shot. He was hesitant. He shot it. This time he decisively drove it to the basket. No help came. Got a goaltending call.
San Antonio by 3 as we approach 5 minutes remaining in this first quarter. The Lakers have won 9 consecutive playoff games on the road. That includes 2 here in San Antonio last season on the way to the 4-game sweep. Rose given the room. Shaq did not come out. San Antonio has won 15 of the last 16 here at the Alamo Dome. Nice pass, and Horry's able to stuff it. Good look by Kobe. So the Spurs now lead by 1, and Greg Popovich takes a timeout. 4:37 remaining in the first. The Spurs up by 1.
Quarter. Pre-game belonged to one Tim Duncan. It was made official yesterday that he is this year's MVP, and before tonight's tip, he was honored in front of the hometown fans that gave him a standing ovation. He said he's collecting a lot of nice hardware. In '98, he was the season rookie of the year. In 1999, he was the NBA championship and finals MVP. 2000, he was the All-Star co-MVP, and now he has the 2002 MVP trophy. He said he can't believe, he's never imagined he could come this far and do so well in his NBA career, Marv.
All right, thanks, Dean. Not bad for a guy like yourself, Czar, who began as a swimmer.
He's quite competitive swimmer, by the way.
Yeah.
Long strokes.
St. Croix in the Virgin Islands, and then turned to basketball at a later age. Went on to an All-American career at Wake Forest, playing all 4 years at Wake. Being guarded now by Horry. Duncan. And that shot was deflected by George, who came over.
Here's the difference. When Horry's on him, you'll see him in the low post area. When Shaq is on him, you'll see Duncan on the outside on the perimeter trying to take Shaq off the dribble.
Here's George. 4 minutes remaining in this opening quarter, and the Spurs have a 14-13 lead. Parker is fouled by Fisher.
Very good play. They entered the ball to Duncan. Parker made a baseline cut. Duncan struggling, gives it back to him. Gets Parker to the free throw line. That's how you make your teammates better. You get them easier shots.
Tony Parker in France, his native country, is a major celebrity. His face has made the cover of all 6 French basketball magazines. Spurs games televised there live. He has his own website, TonyParker.net, if you want to check it out.
How about the fact that he could be a, freshman at UCLA this year, this past season, playing basketball, committed to UCLA to play there, and then this pro basketball thing kind of got in the way somehow.
So the Spurs have a 3-point lead. Now Shaq up top. Bryant, who has not shot well in the postseason, tried to get it to O'Neal, and it's deflected out. Last touch by San Antonio, says Ken Maurer, the outside official. Lakers have 11 on the shot clock. Here's Danny Ferry coming on for Steve Smith. And Danny Ferry did provide problems for the Lakers in L.A. on Tuesday. Hit a couple of jump shots.
What happenstance? He just happens to be on Robert Horry once again. This works out that way.
Now Horry is fouled, hacked by Ferry.
That may have been for his first block shot if they didn't call a foul on that one. He's right up there, but you can see a little bit short of the ball. Gets a little bit of that wrist.
Robert Horry fouled in the act. Will shoot 2. Horry in game 2, 7 points, 11 rebounds, continues to play exceptionally well in playoff competition. Magic Johnson says that Robert Horry is one of the top 10 to 15 all-time great playoff performers. 10 to 15, yes.
That's high praise. And what he does, I think he paces himself through the regular season, much like the whole Laker team, and then he knows how to turn it up, and he does play extremely well. I think it's a great move that he put him in the starting lineup. I think it's really going to help him.
Jeff, let me ask you this. Can you imagine how his psyche would have been if Curry would have blocked his opening shot out of the gates on a jump shot?
Magic would have revisited that 10 to 15.
Spurs by 2 with 3.5 remaining. In this first quarter, Marv Albert with the czar, Mike Fratello, Jeff Van Gundy, D. Lydom, and a foul committed by Horry looking for the strip. Got a piece of Duncan.
When he faces up and doesn't keep that ball cocked behind his right hip, sometimes what Duncan does by habit is he brings the ball back behind his right hip area as he's looking over the floor, and he's got it back behind him. When it's back behind him, he can't pass, he can't shoot, he can't dribble. You've got to bring that ball into that ready position out in front of you, and that's what he did that time.
Both teams have 4 team fouls, 18-14. San Antonio, Bryant. So Kobe, with his second field goal, he's 2 for 6 from the field. He's shooting under 40% for the first 5 playoff games. Although against San Antonio over the first 2, he's about 46. Parker going the touch. 8 points here in the first quarter for Tony Parker.
And that's exactly what San Antonio wants to do. Get him in high pick and rolls with O'Neal's man. O'Neal wants to sag in the lane. He came off and buried the open jumper.
Phil Jackson calls for time. Biggest lead of the game. San Antonio up by 4.
The screen. Shaq tends to like to lay back off him. As the ball comes towards the screen, I want you to watch Rose, the screener, move to his left. Phil Jackson feels this is an illegal screen right there, moving into the defensive player. That makes Fisher go way back underneath him. And as a result now, you'll see that Parker has so much room to shoot the jump shot. On the timeout, Phil Jackson talked to the official about the screener moving into his defensive player.
Jeff, nice to see the czar and the telestrator back on speaking terms.
Absolutely. I was a little worried about their relationship.
Yeah, it was, there were problems.
And I also think it's interesting to see Phil Jackson up more in this game early than he has been the whole playoffs so far.
Samaki Walker has checked in. Shaquille O'Neal sitting down. As we saw Phil get off the bench a couple of times in game 2. Here's Devin George trying the 3, kept alive by Walker, and he's fouled. Rose attempting the strip. He's called for the foul.
You're right, Jeff. Phil Jackson is up on every whistle, on every call. Very emphatic over there when he feels that there should be a call made to the officials.
Or does he feel there's a sense of urgency with his ball club, the way they're playing in the postseason?
Hey, coaches sense the feel, the mood, the attitude of the team. And he knows that for the entire playoffs, they have not had that disposition that he would like them to have. He hasn't felt that domination that he felt a year ago when they went 15-1 throughout the playoffs. So sometimes you can sit back, you can watch, you can let them try to work themselves out of it. Other times, you need to jumpstart him, help jumpstart him.
He's setting the tone of intensity by getting up and getting after the officials and his own team.
Lakers try to trap. Here's Rose pushing it to Duncan. Well, Rose, who handles the ball exceptionally well for a big man, was able to deliver it to Tim Duncan.
I love when teams attack pressure. The Lakers try to throw a little mini press on him, trap the ball in the backcourt. You can play it safe, get it up over half court and start your offense, as you see Samaki Walker hit the turnaround jumper, or you can push it and attack it, and that's what San Antonio did.
San Antonio with a 2-point lead, just under 2 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Antonio Daniels, who played very well the other night in Los Angeles, getting set to come on. Duncan, once again, going glass, once again led beautifully by the point guard, Tony Parker. So the NBA's most valuable player, Tim Duncan, with 8 points here in this first quarter. Bryant forced to give up the ball. Bryant for Horry and a foul, and the Lakers got bailed out of that possession. San Antonio now over the foul limit as Rose picks up his second.
I really like the defense that San Antonio is playing right now. Greg Popovich, I think, is one of the most underrated maybe coaches in the league. That's not to say people don't feel he's done a good job, but he just doesn't receive maybe the praise that some of the other elite coaches receive in this league.
He's absolutely, I think, like you said, the most underrated coach. They have the MVP in Duncan, but if you look at everybody else, Parker has the chance to be a very good player. Everyone else is a role player, and he consistently gets them in the high 50s and the 60s, and he gets them to play defense, and that's so hard to do with a team that's laterally challenged like San Antonio is.
His discussion right there with the referee, Ken Maurer, is the fact, why are we shooting these free throws when he didn't feel he had possession on the shot? Now, like, if they're in bonus, you're going to go to the line, take the 2, but you saw Ken Maurer making the judgment thing there of 2 hands on the ball possession.
I don't like those foul calls on the lobs. I think we give too much credit to the offense. The ball is free, somewhat like a rebound. I think it should be equal opportunity, defense and offense. I think far too often we bail offensive players out on poor lob passes. I think the defense has just as much right to the ball as the offense.
Well, Robert Horry is able to cut it to a 2-point Spurs lead with 1:20 remaining in this first quarter. Parker and Smith in the backcourt. Now Ferry played by Horry. Duncan. Horry over to help out on a double. Parker again able to penetrate. It's been a terrific first quarter for Tony Parker, who has been sensational throughout the postseason, beginning with Seattle, where he's going up against Gary Payton. Back comes Parker. Set by George on the switch. They clear it out. Here's Ferry. And hustled down by Fisher. Fisher for Horry. He'll pull it back. 7-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock, but Samaki Walker is able to hit. That's his second field goal.
Great production from Horry and Samaki Walker to keep them 2 points down when O'Neal hasn't been a dominant factor so far.
Final seconds of the first. Parker showing some confidence. 12 points for Parker. 5 for 7 from the field. Can Bryant get it off? He does. Goes glass. That's the end of the first quarter. The Spurs with a 28-24 lead. Tim Duncan, 3 for 6. 8 points. Tony Parker, 12 points. And Tim Duncan without a turnover in the first quarter.
TMT's Hit Original Drama return.
Tony Parker and Tim Duncan combined for the last 16 points for the San Antonio Spurs.
And you see Duncan posted here. He's going to start backing in, and they want him to play with more patience. So 1 dribble, 2 dribbles. Now Fisher comes. He delivers it on target. Parker drives it right back in the middle, and because Samaki Walker didn't want to take his body off Duncan, no shot blocking at the rim. Parker finished it. Great patience by Tim Duncan in the low post.
I would think one adjustment that the Lakers will make coming out of the timeout, I would expect to see the defender on the screener in these pick and rolls come up higher. They're laying back way too low. The man on the ball is going underneath the screen. It's creating too much space because San Antonio's done a good job of moving the screens down lower. I would think that big guy's got to be up the show a little bit, help that guard get over.
As you saw, Shaquille O'Neal back in. He sat out the last 3 minutes of the first quarter. Duncan putting moves on O'Neal, and a foul is called. Foul is on Rick Fox, who came over to help out, and Duncan will go to the line. That's 3 on Fox.
That really hurts him in their matchup against Steve Smith, and also takes perimeter shooting off the floor. Now they come with Devin George. They just don't have as much shooting.
He has definitely been, and we're talking about Rick Fox as he walks off, a Steve Smith stopper. Plus, good enough to hit a big 3 on you just when you need it. Good enough to put the ball on the floor and create some penetration in their offense.
Spurs 10 of 18 for the field in the first quarter, 56%. Lakers went 9 for 21. San Antonio with 28 points in the first quarter. Remember, they scored only 32 in the second half of game 2, although they went on to defeat the Lakers in Los Angeles. Here's Bryant for 3. He has not been hitting the three-point shot. So Marky Walker continues to play exceptionally well against his former team.
It's one of the ways you can help your offense when it's struggling. Get some easy scores in transition, but if you're not getting those, get to the offensive boards to get second shot opportunities.
Terry Porter, who just checked in. Porter, Smith, and Daniels in a 3-guard set along with Duncan and Ferry. Rebounded by Brian Shaw, had the touch from downtown the other night. Bryant with a running hook. Rebounded by Bryant, and a foul against the Spurs.
It was just a great effort by Bryant to go back and get the missed shots. He had blocked out basically, but just went up over the top of everybody because of determination.
Foul on Ferry and David Robinson. Here's the reaction from the crowd as he checks back in. David making his return. He last played game 1 in the opening round series against Seattle. Played 5 minutes in the first quarter. Kobe Bryant, that was a 2-pointer. He has 6 for the game, and the Spurs now lead by 1.
Bruce Bowen's done an outstanding job on Bryant. They can't let him get off on Antonio Daniels. They may have to double. They have to protect him somehow.
And Robinson's pass off the mark. That's the game's first turnover. And Bruce Bowen was talking about Ruben Patterson, who's known as the Kobe stopper. He says, no, that's not me. I'm the Kobe botherer. And he'd like that to be known. He does not want to get Kobe upset. Good job by Daniels on Bryant, although Bryant felt he was fouled. Duncan with the save. Now Duncan being played by O'Neal. Smith open for 3. Yes! Steve Smith in the regular season led the NBA, shooting 47% from three-point range. Not able to get going in the playoffs. Here comes Porter. Daniels passed on the shot and then threw it away.
Nice job of recovering defensively that time by the Lakers to force the turnover and now get the scoring opportunity back. And Phil Jackson is up all over the officials right now. He felt that Shaw was hit going to the basket that time. He may take one early here just to send the message.
Bryant got the step. So Kobe with his 4th bucket, 8 points, 4 of 12 from the field. And the Lakers are within 2. Robinson sets the pick. Duncan. And he is fouled by Walker.
Once that pick and roll comes on the sideline, you heard Phil Jackson's whistle through the crowd. He was trying to signal to send the ball down the sideline. Porter eventually gets back to the middle of the floor, and then Duncan tries to power in, and there's Walker's body going underneath.
Duncan now 4 for 5 at the line.
The pick and rolls are really giving LA trouble. And on the side, they're forcing it down, as you said. Again, I don't think Samaki Wasser has to come up and help off Duncan and give the dish. I'd make Terry Porter finish that play at the rim with O'Neal coming late to block.
Walker picked up by Robinson. O'Neal. And Robinson over to help. Foul is called. Duncan got him first and picks up his first personal.
You can see all the extra movement going on before the ball. This is the same thing. Move, 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 and then throw it into Shaq and let him make his move. And that's all we see happening here. And then the fouls.
Well, Jerry Stackhouse's three-point shot ruled after the buzzer. The Celtics defeat the Pistons 66-64. That is the lowest combined point total in a playoff game since the introduction of the shot clock. Now that's a game that both you guys can relate to.
I don't like that. I resent that statement. What do you mean?
I was talking to Jeff and our statistician Brian Taylor.
Oh, okay. Because there's a tone in your voice I didn't like.
Oh, there's no question.
Okay. They just got me out of the record books. I'm glad to see that.
You see, now Jeff accepts it very nicely. You have a bitterness about it.
He'll eventually figure it out. It'll affect him.
Shaquille O'Neal, who obviously was not affected by the injured finger on that first free throw. Paul Pierce at 19 to lead the Celtics. Kenny Anderson at 17 points. Stackhouse ends up with 19. Ben Wallace 12 points and 21 rebounds. Celtics now lead 2-1.
There had to be a lot of rebounds in that game.
Two teams are so evenly matched. They differ at the offensive end, the different philosophies. Boston shooting so many threes with two stars at the offensive end. Stackhouse is kind of taking a lesser role offensively this year, but both defenses are outstanding.
Rose's shot was deflected short by Bryant, and it's a 24-second violation. So the ball back to the Lakers. Phil Jackson now has Bryant and Shaw at the guards. O'Neal with Walker and George up front. And David Robinson defending against Shaquille O'Neal. Here's Shaq. And the game is tied at 34. 8 points for O'Neal.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Laker offense looks like it has taken on the shape or form of San Antonio's. Give it to Duncan, put 4 guys on the other side of the floor. That time, get it to Shaq. Meanwhile, you got flashing taking place. Daniels goes down the lane for the layup there. A lot of flashing and cutting from the offside, Jeff.
O'Neal is a very unselfish player. He'll throw the ball out of the post. They're doing a good job of giving him a second look by throwing it back in.
Bryant and Shaq and Kobe beginning to heat up here in the second quarter. The game is tied at 36. You mentioned the unselfishness of Shaquille O'Neal the other night, although he did not play well. He had 5 assists. He has 3 already here. Smith draws the foul. It's on George. 13 foul committed by the Lakers. Now Bruce Bowen will check back in for the Spurs, coming on for Steve Smith.
With this team on the floor for the Spurs, they don't have one go-to guy that can get them shots and or attract double teams. They're going to have to play great team offense to get quality shots.
Here's Daniels. And Brian Shaw on the loose ball. There's Tim Duncan sitting down along with Steve Smith. David Robinson remaining on the floor. Bryant for Walker. Good play by Kobe, and the Lakers have the lead for the first time.
It's been the 3rd time in a row that Samaki Walker was in the lane open. Each time he keeps clapping his hands. I'm so happy that Kobe found him that time and gave him the ball. He was so disappointed he hadn't gotten it the other time.
Walker has 10 points. He's done it off the bench. Robert Horry starting tonight. Here's Robinson. That's his first field goal attempt.
This team the Spurs have on the floor right now have got to hold the fort.
Game tied at 38. Bryant rejected by Bowen. Here comes Daniels, and he's fouled by George.
Kobe gets in so deep in that heavy traffic and then just can't decide where to go with it. He had no drop-off passes. Got caught in the air, 2 defenders up there. George takes the foul to stop the fast break.
Now Tim Duncan is back. Duncan, Robinson, and Bowen up front, with Porter and Daniels in the backcourt. So Antonio Daniels now plays the point. Porter for three.
Daniels gave San Antonio a great lift last game, coming off the bench with 14 points.
He's got great energy and athleticism going to the basket.
Shaquille O'Neal comes up hobbling after that fadeaway shot. Shaq has 10. He's 4 for 6 from the field. And now the Spurs take a timeout. Now watch this shot by Shaq, and you can see he's grimacing.
Well, could be that same ankle that they treated him for prior to the game as he tried to pivot and turn in to get the fall-away in.
I'm going to go following that last shot by Shaquille O'Neal. He came up hobbling, limping off the court, and during the timeout, got it wrapped. Could add a sprained left ankle to Shaquille O'Neal's list of injuries. When asked about it yesterday, Shaq took a little shot at his head coach, Phil Jackson. He said, ask Phil about it. He knows everything. It was that, quote, heated conversation between Phil and Shaquille about Phil wanting Shaq to get more actively involved, chasing the ball down. He knows that Shaq's playing hurt, but he's trying to get him going, trying to prod him a bit.
I know a lot of coaches feel that you tend to stir those type of things up. I don't think there's a problem at all.
I think it was the media, don't you, Jeff? And it's knocked out of bounds.
I am the media. I'm part of it.
That's right.
I'm part of the group. I can criticize my...
Deal with it.
Deal with it. I'm going to have to go into therapy for that maybe, huh?
4 on the shot clock. Antonio Daniels able to get it off in time. Rebounded by Rose. Done an excellent job on the offensive glass.
He's quick for Shaq to have to guard. In fact, Shaq would rather guard Duncan than have to chase Rose around out there.
Duncan from Parker. Duncan is fouled from behind. Now Walker raising his hand. And it is Samaki Walker committing his second.
That's knowing your role on the team. Trying to take a foul for the big man O'Neal. That's smart basketball by Samaki Walker.
Duncan now 6 of 7 at the line. He's come a long way in his free throw shooting from a year ago when he was 68% during the regular season.
He's getting a lot of iron tonight on these shots. They haven't all been clean, but they, as you mentioned, now 7 for 8.
But he says he's going to the line, and he used to take more time. Now he just goes up, doesn't think about it, takes the shot.
Marv, remember last year when we played against him at the Knicks in New York, he was 0 for 7. It changed the whole complexion of the game. If your star can't make free throws, it's very difficult.
Game tied at 40. Here's Shaw. Rebounded by Walker. Samaki Walker showing the nice touch. He now has 12 points. Samaki's hit on all 5 of his shot attempts. Rose challenging O'Neal and foul. Malik Rose got the step. Fouled by Fisher, his second.
Once again, when Rose gets in that 17, 18-foot area, he has to put his eyes on the rim, fake the shot, get Shaq out of his stance, and that's what happened last time. He just got Shaq to move a little bit, and then he has the ability to put it on the floor, 1 or 2 dribbles, and he has the quickness to go by Shaquille.
And I think what the perimeter defenders of LA have to do is put their whole body in front of the ball and take a charge. Make him come to a stop and make a pass. Most bigs, when they drive the ball hard, can't come to that stop and make a pass. And I think Rose is very vulnerable to the offensive foul.
And that's the problem, because he does go so hard, and he is thick and wide. Those guys that you want to step over there, they're kind of thinking about it right now, Jeff. They don't really want to get in front of him right now.
They like that arm help a lot better.
Yeah, reach in there.
Steve Smith back, replacing Antonio Daniels. Lakers up by 1. We're down to 4:20 remaining in the half. Kobe Bryant. Well, he has the touch. Kobe said the other day he was looking for the jumper, and he feels it. Well, he has seen it return here in the first half. Smith. Rose on the rebound, able to squeeze through. That is rejected by Shaw. It will be San Antonio ball.
Rose came from the foul line area, ran right in between two of the Lakers, and just moved them out of the way. If you can see him coming down all of a sudden, here he right there. He moves one guy out of the way, gets in between Walker and O'Neal, comes up with the rebound. Excellent job, hard work by Malik Rose.
We welcome you back to the Alamo Dome. The Lakers with a 3-point lead. The 19-year-old Tony Parker, they say, has the demeanor and maturity equivalent to a rookie a couple of years ago of Tim Duncan. And you know what? He's quite popular. Marv, you said go to his website, tonyparker.net. And in fact, we did. You can choose English or French. You can find out Tony's likes or dislikes. For instance, he likes girls. He does not like Coca-Cola because his mother is a health nut. You can also see interviews that he conducts nightly in the postseason after playoff games. And this guy is Olivier Foupon, who writes for L'Equipe, which is the equivalent of, say, a Sports Illustrated in France. And he told me 2 days ago they actually put Tony on the cover because that's how big it's become following his career. Marv?
Thanks, Dee, and that's Tony Parker with the ball, giving it up to Steve Smith. Tony was born in Belgium, grew up in France. His dad, Tony Sr., played at Loyola of Chicago and then on the professional level overseas. Lakers up 44-41, and a foul away from the ball. Foul committed by Smith.
I didn't realize you spent that much time on the computer.
Well, I'm most interested in basketball players from France. I go to that website on a regular basis.
It's amazing how you just can, hone in on one particular thing that captures your interest.
All right, here is Bryant. Parker on the loose ball. Can you tell me the last rookie point guard to lead a team to an NBA title is... Oh, it counts! And the foul! Malik Rose with the reverse, and he will go to the line. Foul on Horry.
All you need is a half a step. Horry gambled with baseline side to try and play post defense. It was a mistake. The ball was passed to the correct side of the offensive player. That's all you need, one quick step.
Jeff, I know you know the answer. This is for the Czar. The last rookie point guard to lead a team to an NBA title in what year?
I would say maybe Magic Johnson.
So annoying. You are correct. Here's Bryant, rejected by Duncan back in 1980.
It does bother you.
You're so happy with yourself.
It bothers you when I get the answers right. It's great.
Very dangerous having Rick Fox back in the game with 3 fouls. Somewhat like he played O'Neal with 3 to finish the half last game.
Yes, that backfired. Game 2 as Shaq committed that offensive foul in the final minute of the first half. That's a 3 for Fisher, of the Lakers now lead 47-44.
It's one of those shots that you're sitting there on the bench saying, oh no, don't take, way to go, Fish, way to knock that one down.
Rose rebounded by O'Neal. 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the first half. It's game 3 of this best-of-7 Western Conference semifinal series. They're even at 1 game apiece. O'Neal slapped back out by Horry. Bryant for 3 and rebounded by Rose. Kobe has not been able to hit from downtown. Just under 2 to go in this first half. Well, Parker had the step and then lost control. So the ball back to the Lakers.
There was that high middle pick and roll again with O'Neal's man, which was Duncan. Parker got deep in the lane. He just got it deflected, which forced a turnover, but too deep a penetration.
Fox. And last touch by the Lakers. That turnover by San Antonio, their 4th. The Lakers have not turned it over at all in this first half.
Interestingly, Terry Porter, who was the mentor, he was placed in charge of helping the youngster, the 19-year-old Parker from France. just jumped up off the bench and was all over the officials about not calling the foul on Parker when he went to the basket last time.
Oh, nice touch once again by Parker, who has 14. He's the high man for the Spurs.
I think Terry Porter might be twice as old as Tony Parker.
Tony will be 20 in about 10 days.
And Terry Porter is?
Fox not able to hit the three. Porter is 38. And Parker able to finish. So the Spurs recapture the lead. Up by 1 with just under 1 minute to go, first half.
They say you can't get size, you can't teach size. The other thing is you can't teach speed and quickness either.
Fox. Rick Fox with his first field goal. Lakers 49, the Spurs 48.
And that's where the Lakers are vulnerable in transition to a hard push like Parker just put on.
They double up on Parker, and the foul is called. It's Fisher raising his hand, wants the call, and he gets it because it would have been number 4 on Fox, but it's 3 on Fisher.
You want to take advantage of your transition opportunities. Parker saw it the whole way. He had his head up. He just had to weave his way in between the defenders for the score.
Reminder coming up next, the AT&T halftime report with Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley, and special guest Jalen Rose of the Chicago Bulls. We'll take a look back at that incredible Detroit-Boston game, 66-64 final for the Celtics. And they'll have injury updates on Jason Kidd and Peja Stojakovic. That's coming up just a moment at halftime. 22nd timeout has been called with 36 seconds to go in the half.
Talk about Jason Kidd's injury. What a collision that was last night between David Wesley and Jason Kidd. And the fact that Jason went inside, took who knows how many stitches, tried to come out and play again for the Nets. And you know, he's led them the entire season, tried to do it last night. But I'm just wondering, will that eye close up? And will he be able to see out of that right eye to come the next game?
They said it was very swollen today and that he might not have been able to play today. Hopefully, he'll be available tomorrow.
Tony Parker, 7 of 9 in this first half, and he's the high point man with 17 for the half.
A lot of guys have speed and quickness and can penetrate, but if you can't make the jump shot from the outside, then you can't be an effective player in the NBA. He shows you a little bit of the jump shot and then a little bit of the drive, penetrating ability that Tony Parker has.
What poise. There were many questions about Tony Parker going into the postseason. And he has come up at a very high level, starting with the series against the Sonics. The game is tied at 49. Bryant to the pull-up. And the foul. Kobe Bryant will head to the line. Strong half for Kobe. He now has 14. Foul committed by Bowen, his second.
Bowen feels that when Kobe got him moving down towards the baseline, that he uses his body free arm, that little elbow coming out to move him off. He was very upset with that call, as you can see.
That may not have been a foul at all, maybe just play on, but it certainly wasn't a defensive foul. If anything, an offensive foul.
Bowen will take a seat after collecting his second. Antonio Daniels returns.
Well, we just saw Kobe with 19 field goal attempts already in the first half of this game. That is a very, very high number.
And it's played the whole way.
Everybody stopped Bryant on the follow. I think they just lost sight. They thought it was 2 shots coming up.
There's nothing more infuriating for a coach than to give up a free throw rebound, especially late in the half, a total momentum changer.
And that turns out to be a 4-point play for the Lakers. They lead by 4. Final seconds of the half. Parker for 3. Yes! 5 seconds remaining in the first half. Here comes Bryant. Down to 1. Lindsey Hunter, who just checked in. So that is the end of the first half before a crowd of better than 35,000 here at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. The Lakers with a 53-52 lead at halftime. Tony Parker, the high man, with 20 on 8 for 10 from the field. Tim Duncan has 13. Kobe Bryant, 16 points. Samaki Walker with 12, hitting all 5 of his shots, and Shaquille O'Neal with 10. Coming up, the AT&T halftime report with Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley, and special guest Jalen Rose. Let's go to the studio. Here's Ernie.
Yeah, fewest turnovers, under 13 per game. They've got to watch out. Fox and Fisher both with 3 personal fouls. And we can see the free throw attempts right here. 18 free throw attempts to just 9. San Antonio has picked up 8 more points off the foul line. Going into tonight's game, San Antonio was +5 attempts at the foul line. So something that the Lakers are going to have to watch how many times they put them on the line early.
And as you check out the Amex leaderboard, Tony Parker, the high man, 8 of 10 from the field for 20 points. His 2 misses were both from three-point land. Let's check in with D.
I will begin with the medical report from the guys wearing purple and gold. Shaquille O'Neal had his ankle completely retaped at halftime. You notice at that timeout, they taped over top of his socks. They took that off, and Gary Beatty said it's almost cast-like what he did at halftime. As for David Robinson, he said his back feels great. No issues with his back. He does feel a little winded, but he told Greg Popovich he can go as much and as often as he asks of him in this second half. Marv?
All right, thanks, Steve. David Robinson played 10 minutes, took 1 shot, hit that shot, just 1 rebound. While Shaquille O'Neal, 21 minutes, 4 for 7 for his 10 points. Kobe Bryant went the entire half, 8 of 20. A lot of shot attempts for 16 points. Lakers up by 1 as we get started in the 3rd quarter. Duncan. Robinson not able to follow. Lakers starting Robert Horry once again instead of Samaki Walker. Horry is up front with Rick Fox playing with 3 fouls, and Shaquille O'Neal in the backcourt. Kobe Bryant, Derek Fisher. Fisher has 3. O'Neal met by Duncan, and Shaq comes up short. Shaq on the follow.
The problem on that pick and roll is when you come off Shaquille O'Neal's body, he can roll to the basket. He caught it deep. Even though he missed the first one, he got the second shot and stuck it back in.
Robinson, he had trouble getting the proper grip for that shot. And a tripping foul on Parker. And Kobe shaken up.
Kobe landed on that left wrist, I think. It seemed like he grabbed the wrist as he went down there. Kobe trying to get a handle. Parker grabs the arm right there on the foul, and then all of a sudden the feet get tangled up. And there goes Kobe.
And Kobe Bryant still bothered by that badly bruised his right knee that was kicked by Bruce Bowen back in game 1.
And if he keeps shooting as many shots as he's taken so far, he's going to have to ice that right elbow.
Yes. 20 shots in the first half for Kobe Bryant. This is number 21. Bryant able to get to the loose ball. Bryant fires one up. He's called for steps.
I don't know how he lost his footing that time. He started to elevate, and the left foot either got caught or turned over. Right at the end of this, watch his left foot as he plants to go up right about there. You see him kind of stutter step with that toe on it.
Duncan settled beautifully by Robinson.
With Robinson out, one of the underrated aspects of his game is his ability to pass the ball, especially in high-low situations to Duncan. An excellent post feed.
Oh, Robert Horry just went down. Apparently he's all right.
He ran into Tim Duncan's chest. That's what put him down.
Foul before the shot attempt. It's on Robinson, his second.
That was called laying wood in the old days, right?
Yes, he put a little wood on Horry on that cut.
O'Neal, quick release by Shaq. Bowen on the rebound. Smith and Parker in the backcourt. Bowen, Robinson, and Duncan up front. Duncan with the head fake on Horry.
They always try to keep a shooter on the same side of the floor as Duncan. That time it was Steve Smith. They send Tony Parker. His man is Fisher. They want Fisher out of there.
Bryant with the ball fake. Crowd looking for a traveling violation. What a move by Kobe Bryant. The Lakers lead 57-54. Kobe has 18. Lakers staying with Horry on Duncan. Now Shaq over to help. Robinson able to get to the loose ball.
Part of the problem when you have shot blockers that go after a lot of shots or do block a lot of shots, if you don't get the ball back and leave somebody free on the glass, the offensive rebound for the opponent.
Lakers up by 1. Fisher. Horry on the rebound and a foul. A loose ball foul. It's on Horry. That's his third. So 3 apiece on Fox, Horry, and Fisher.
Horry actually moved Bruce Bowen out of there with his body. He came from the low left side, from behind the backboard, kind of moved into Bowen, just, you know, bigger and stronger, and moved Bowen right out of the way to get that rebound.
Thought he did a good job not using his hands to push off, but used his body to wedge him under, but he got called for the loose ball foul.
And those are the little dirty tricks you taught the Knicks to do all the time.
I resent that. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Which pleases him, actually, Jeff. Nice move by Duncan. Then Duncan with a series of...
When guarded by Horry or Samaki Walker, he wants him to be a post player and play with his back to the basket.
Spurs have a 1-point lead. Bryant, O'Neal lost his footing and stepped out.
Kobe almost just gets that up on the glass, hoping that Shaq can come up with it. But remember, you're dealing with a player that's got injuries, 4 different injuries to 4 different parts of his body. He's out there trying to do it, trying to give it, but his ankle is bad. His toe has been bad all year. We know that he has stitches, and that finger is very, very bad. Much worse than people think it is.
But the Lakers get it back. Yes, Shaq's still not himself, and that was the case in games 1 and 2. You look at the stat line, 5 for 10, 12 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, but not able to dominate the way he usually does.
Injuries really play a huge factor once you get to the playoffs. 82 games, you can get bumped and bruised and nicked. Last year in the San Antonio Lakers series, Derek Anderson was hurt. It just happens. You see it all throughout the league. Mashburn out with Charlotte. Injuries are a critical factor.
And I heard Kenny Smith saying in the studio show last night that Chuck Daly had mentioned the difference between the second round and first round is that inevitably there are injuries that take place, and all you have to do is look at, you know, Shaq getting hurt, Kid, you know, smacking heads last night, getting hurt. The second round seems to produce injuries. More games, becomes a little more physical.
The foul called on Robinson. That's his 4th.
Well, you see Shaq flashing in there. Robinson's trying to ride him up the dotted line. Contact, tough call against Robinson. Said he grabbed him around the waist.
David Robinson sits down. That's 14 fouls on the Spurs. Now Duncan defending on O'Neal. San Antonio with the ball. They lead by 1. 5 minutes in. 3rd quarter. Smith rebounded by Horry.
Great play by Parker off the dribble to drive it all the way to the rim, skip it along the baseline to their best 3-point shooter in Smith. He just missed a good look.
O'Neal banking his way. And then to the fadeaway.
It's almost like he's shooting that ball with his index finger off the ball, trying to shoot it with his last 3 fingers, his thumb, and the palm of his hand. You know, we mentioned the number of shots Kobe's taken, Marv. That may be because Shaq may be limited to just how many shots he can get up there.
23 shots now for Kobe Bryant. Shaq with 12. Parker from downtown. O'Neal on the rebound. Malik Rose is back, coming on for David Robinson. Here's Horry. Parker met by Fisher. Rose whipping by O'Neal. Now that's something that would not happen under normal circumstances.
All he has to do is get him to come out of his stance a little bit. It's all designed, okay? They want Shaq to react. They want Rose to put it on the floor, go by him, or draw a foul.
Off the deflection, Duncan comes up with a loose ball. San Antonio up by 1. 5.5 remaining in the third. Duncan with room.
And that's the matchup they'd rather have. O'Neal guarding Duncan rather than O'Neal on Malik Rose, because it's not the same level of quickness off the dribble.
Horry with the step. O'Neal could not handle the pass. Parker for Duncan, trailing the play. And Fisher able to get to it. Shaq ahead of the field. Here comes Rose. It counts, and the foul. Rose. Malik Rose raced back to make the play, and Shaq clearing out that first row of photographers. A flagrant foul called on Rose.
I couldn't disagree more with this call. He goes in. The level of contact was not a flagrant foul. What happened is they called it flagrant because he fell hard. I totally disagree with that call.
From San Antonio, Texas, Lakers now lead the Spurs 61-60 in what has been a very physical game right from the start.
You see Kobe getting tripped up. He hurts his left wrist right there. A little step at the end, and then I think you said laying the wood on Robert Horry is how you pronounce that, Jeff. And then we see the flagrant right there on Malik Rose. Shaq goes down. He does finish the basket. He'll go to the foul line right now. He gets 2 opportunities to make 1 free throw because the basket went in.
Correct, and that looked like that Nestle Crunch left-hand dunk. I haven't seen him dunk with his left hand since the commercial.
So Shaq to the line. He has 6 of the Lakers' 8 points this third quarter. And he gets another opportunity. The old 2 for 1.
Used to be 3 for 2, right? In the penalty situation? Yeah.
Which lengthened the game a bit. Well, Shaq not able to take advantage. He's 2 of 4 at the line, but the Lakers do have possession.
You know, it's amazing. I watched him shoot free throws today in practice, and he was pure shooting nice and easy, great floater. It's kind of like I heard Charles Barkley say, he hits the ball extremely well at the driving range. It's just when he goes on the course for real, they just don't go the same way they do at the driving range.
He had actually picked it up recently, although he was 5 for 10 the other night. Nice fluid jump hook by O'Neal, and the Lakers now lead 63-60, just under 5 remaining in the third. Fox playing with 3 fouls. Duncan picked him off. Good hustle by Bryant, and the Spurs have 6 on the shot clock.
Teams will anticipate that you're going to swing the ball around to a certain shooter, and that time Kobe guessed right, got in the passing lane, got his hand on it, almost a steal.
Down to 3. Down to 1. Bowen. Yes. Jeff, what's going on? He's hitting from that right-hand side, and that's a 2-point shot, not a 3.
He's not nearly as good off the dribble. He is an extremely hard worker. Took it off the shot fake, 1 dribble, bounced, got his rhythm, knocked it in.
So the Laker lead is now 1. O'Neal feeling it. Nice drop step. He's had a huge third quarter. 10 of his 20 points in the third.
I may be wrong, but I think he just looked over and said, maybe to himself he was talking, I'm all right. He made the shot and said, I'm all right.
Duncan with a nice fake, but cannot hit. He's been off. Here's Rose. The quickness of Malik Rose has been a big factor in the last 2 games.
It's just what Mike talked about before. Coming over to try to block a shot, Robert Horry left Malik Rose unattended on the offensive board. No body on him. Grabbed it, finished it with a strong dunk.
Fox for three. Duncan with the box out. San Antonio in possession, down by one. And as Parker tried to get it to Rose, a foul is called. Well, the Lakers only their second team foul. Foul committed by Fox. That's number 4. Here's Samaki Walker checking back in. Walker comes on for Horry, so for the moment Fox remains on the floor. Fox knocked it away from Duncan from behind, recovered by Parker. Here's Parker, and he is fouled. So Tony Parker will go to the line. O'Neal called for his first foul.
Parker has a great first step and the quickness with the basketball in his hand to turn the corner on his defender, and it constantly keeps bringing Shaq over to try and help out. But Mark, they just brought in, I'm talking about San Antonio, just brought in Samaki Walker off the bench, and Robert Horry went out. They have a little device over there. It's called a variable resistance cycle. And that was designed, developed by Gary Vitti, the trainer of the Lakers. And they go over and sit on that thing when they come out and they ride it. And the nice thing about this is you can keep it right next to the seats on the bench. They have pedals on it. You sit on it. Vitti's designed this over the years. And it's kind of like the other night when you said, Jeff, Indiana needed instant offense, you dialed 1-800 Austin Crozier. When you need to get those legs loosened up, you dial 1-800 Gary Vitti, and he comes up and invents a bicycle that you can put next to your bench.
Makes sense rather than go back to the dress.
Exactly, that's the purpose.
Spurs up by 1. Here's Bryant, way off O'Neal, and Shaq is looking better and better.
That dunk he threw down so hard, it hurt his finger again. See if that has any impact on his offense the rest of this quarter.
Duncan draws the double, trying to squeeze his way. Deflected out by the Lakers.
See, Duncan didn't want Parker in front of him. He wanted to get the shot up. Parker's got to get out. Here goes Shaq on the offensive board. He grabs it, goes up strong, reverses, finishes strong, but hurts that finger.
It's time to come down, make them play D in the half court. If we don't have the break, we don't need the 20-footer from Tim. Your shot is great.
It's amazing during the playoffs how all those eyes are focused on the head coach. Everybody understands what he means by it. You see the heads bobbing up and down. Yes, they understand the shot selection that he wants.
And what I loved about it was he could coach his best player, and his best player took to coaching. That's what a leader is all about.
And Bruce Bowen has given the Spurs a 1-point lead. Here's Bryant going 1-on-2. Kept alive by George, and he's fouled by Parker. The entire game has been played within a range of 9 points. Lakers' biggest lead, 4. Spurs have led by as many as 5.
That was about as close to a turnover as you can produce from San Antonio's defense, yet somehow through the hustle and hard work by the Lakers, they came up with the basketball again.
Just under 2 remaining in the third. Bryant played so well by Bowen and somehow was able to drill it over Bowen.
Bowen stayed down on the fake, guessed right, went to go up, got his hand right there, and Kobe still made the shot.
Kick ball. San Antonio maintains possession.
This is just greatness. He takes it hard off the dribble. He pump fakes, gets Bowen up just a bit, ducks his head, raises up. Bowen's hand's right on the shot, and he still finds a way to knock it down.
Bryant now 10 for 26, 20 points. Duncan over Walker. So Samaki Walker called for the foul against the man he faced in practice quite a bit over his 2 years as a member of the San Antonio Spurs. And Tim Duncan to the line. He's 7 of 8 at the line. Has not shot the ball well from the field. Only 5 for 17. And he's hearing the chant of MVP.
I'm really shocked that the Spurs are able to be tied this late in the game with Duncan shooting 5 for 17. I think it just shows you how well Parker's played and Malik Rose.
Spurs have gotten a huge lift from Tony Parker, who has 22 points. Rose with 10. And the Lakers take the 1-point lead. Derek Fisher with 8 points.
Well, you mentioned Duncan struggling. For the regular season, he shot almost 51% from the floor. But in the playoffs, with everybody ganging up on him, no David Robinson around, he's shooting just 45% in the previous 7 playoff games.
One of that opening game, he missed his first 10 shots, finished 9 for 30. It's a force by Parker. And last touch by the Lakers with 1 on the shot clock. Danny Ferry back on the floor up front with Rose and Duncan. Parker and Bowen at the guards. And now Bennett Salvatore walking to the official scorers table and indicating a double technical on Derek Fisher and Tony Parker.
With 1 second left, you can either look for a back pick lob or a quick shot coming to the corner. You have time to catch and shoot with a second remaining. Plenty of time.
And San Antonio, in their walkthrough earlier today, was going through a lot of underneath and side out of bounds in just these situations.
Here's a look at what led to the double technical. And now they have changed the shot clock. They just put 14 seconds because of the double technical. So that's a break for San Antonio rather than the 1 second to get the shot off. Lakers up 71-70 with just under 1 minute remaining in the third. Down to 3. Bowen. And knocked out of bounds. Well, the Spurs felt it was last touch by George. And the officials conferring. And Rush can now change the call. They say last touch by George, which was the proper call.
George seemed to come flying in. That's where the crowd reacted. There's his left hand on the ball. It is off of George.
Great teamwork by the officials.
45 seconds remaining in the third. And the Spurs now have a full 24. Parker rebounded by Walker. And let's see, will they go 2 for 1? Yes, they do. Fisher hits from downtown.
You called it right on the money, Mark, because they had about 1 more second, 2 more seconds where they could get a 2 for 1. He launched it just on the money. So now you're talking about a 4-second differential between game clock and shot clock.
And Parker looked fatigued as he tried to finish that shot.
Here's Bowen for 3. And the Lakers now have the opportunity of that second shot.
You know why I think he was fatigued also? He never tried to finish that layup going to the basket.
Fisher for 3 again. And a loose ball foul on Kobe Bryant. Lakers over the limit. Not a good foul with 2 and 7/10 seconds to go in the quarter.
And Bruce Bowen, a very, very poor free throw shooter. 47-48%. He's got to step up. He's missed a lot of crucial free throws in Miami in tough situations. This is a big-time break to get a loose ball foul that late in the quarter.
You're right, 48% for the regular season for Bruce Bowen. And thus far in the playoffs at the foul line, just 44%.
We're down to 2 and 7/10 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Greg Popovich looking to shuffle. Antonio Daniels checked back in. Here comes Steve Smith. The biggest crowd of the season in the NBA on hand here tonight. We're told 35,520 here at the Alamo Dome, San Antonio. They had the previous biggest crowd for Michael Jordan and Washington. At least Jordan was scheduled to play, but did not that night. All right, Horry gets it to Bryant. That will wrap it for the third quarter.
Kobe thought that George was going to stop, catch it, and shoot a jumper. George kept running down the lane as if he wanted Kobe to give him the lead pass to the rim.
After 3 in San Antonio, the Lakers 74, the Spurs 71. Cesar, Mike Fratello, Jeff Van Gundy, D. Lydon, 3-point Laker lead as we head to the fourth. Let's take a look at tonight's budget rent-a-car fast break.
You said budget fast break. 5-2, that was the opening 4 seconds of the game between Dallas and Sacramento. Here we are now, coming down the stretch of this game, quarter to go, and not very many fast break points. You attribute that to good defense. You see the Lakers finally shooting the ball a little bit better at 47% tonight.
And a crucial time. Shaquille O'Neal off the floor to start the fourth. The Spurs have got to make up this 3-point difference right away.
Shaq had an outstanding third quarter, 12 of his 22 in the third. Shot clock down to 5. Fox to the left hand and draws the foul. Rick Fox took the hack. Hit by Duncan, that's his second. And Fox to the line for the first time. The Spurs have won 15 of the last 16 here at home. That goes back to late February. Well, the NBA playoffs continue Monday night here on TNT with Game 5 of the Mavericks at the Kings at 9 o'clock Eastern time. And then Tuesday night on TBS, Game 5 of the Celtics and Pistons, followed by Game 5 of this series, the Spurs and the Lakers from Staples in LA. Coverage Tuesday night starts 7:30 Eastern time with the pregame. How about that earlier Detroit-Boston, a 66-64 victory for the Celtics. Lowest scoring game since the advent of the 24-second shot clock.
A shootout at the Fleet.
Yes. And the Celtics with a 2-1 lead in that series. A minute gone by in the fourth. Walker putting moves on Duncan and coming up way short.
You have a tendency to do that when you have Tim Duncan in your face.
Terry Porter is back. Porter and Daniels in the backcourt. Rose. And it's an offensive foul. Malik Rose called for the foul to charge.
They are, and I'm talking about the Lakers right now, they are on Walker about running the offense. Even though he stepped in, picked up a charge, they want him to stay within the offense. Robert Horry talking to him right now about what they're trying to get out of it. We see the reaction right there. But they want him to run the stuff, particularly with Shaq out of the game. That particular things they want to get scores right now.
Foul on Rose, number 4. David Robinson now checks back in. Robinson making his return tonight from the back problem, not played since the first game of the series against Seattle. He's gone 15 minutes. Fox, a nice turnaround by Rick Fox. And the Lakers now lead 77-71. This represents their biggest lead of the game.
It's a real danger area right now for San Antonio.
Smith throws right back out. Porter for 3. Robinson, oh, he flew the stuff. And a foul. Or apparently someone hang on the rim.
I think that they're concerned about Robinson grabbing the rim as the ball was up there, and he latches onto the rim, and that's where they blow the whistle and stop play right there is where he's holding onto the rim, trying to tip it with the opposite hand. You can't do that.
So the ball back to the Lakers. 2 minutes gone by in the fourth. Lakers up by 6. Going these opening minutes without Shaquille O'Neal. Shaw and Bryant in the backcourt. Fox, Horry, Walker up front. Here's Fox, offensive-minded here at the start of the fourth. And a foul. Apparently a technical foul on Rick Fox. Fox had something to say to one of the officials. The Lakers have been very unhappy with the calls here tonight. Fox was hit with 3 very early, and he has been complaining. Steve Smith.
And there's been a huge discrepancy in the free throws tonight, which has angered the Lakers. But in that situation, I think Rick Fox has got to pull back, not give up a free point. And I also think the referee has to maybe pull back and not give such a quick technical, especially in the fourth quarter of such a critical Game 3.
And now Shaquille O'Neal makes his return. Samaki Walker sits down. Porter played by Bryant. Duncan, yes. Tim Duncan goes glass to bring the Spurs within 3.
You know, Shaquille O'Neal was seated on the bench.
Looked like Terry Porter rammed with Kobe Bryant as they came out of the backcourt. The foul on Porter.
And that may have had to do with the three-point attempt that Porter took before when he landed on his back. He was really upset. He felt that Kobe had put him on his back. That may have been a little message sent there by Porter, but
now Bryant using the pick and roll for O'Neal. Offensive foul. Duncan hit the floor. It's on Shaq, his second.
I wanted to hold up Marcus. I thought they were going to have to run something real quick that time, but going back to why Shaq, as we see Duncan with the spot, Shaq moving into him, the offensive foul. Shaq was on the bench because Phil Jackson had talked to him prior to the game and said he was going to rest him those first 2 or 3 minutes of the fourth quarter, then bring him back out to finish the game.
Duncan for Robinson. It's a one-point game.
That's one of their favorite lead plays. Robinson sets the pick and roll for Tim Duncan. Duncan comes off, throws the lob to Robinson. Great finish and a great pass.
And as Bryant starts to make his move, once again, a double foul is called. One on Robinson, which will be number 5. And the Laker foul on Horry.
I'm not a fan of the double foul. I think a referee should have to decide who initiated the contact and call it on that person. It's so easy to call the double foul. It's a bailout in my mind.
So the Laker lead is now 1 with 8:40 remaining in the fourth quarter. Jeff, I agree with you. I think the double foul call is so frequently just a cop-out, although I guess there can be situations where it is a simultaneous foul.
To me, it's the same as the double technical foul. I don't like them because they have such an impact. Either it's a foul on Robinson there, a foul on Horry, because now Robinson's got 5, and I just wish the referees would pick out who was the initiator of the contact. I'm just not a fan of that call.
So Horry picks up number 4. Robinson, as you mentioned, number 5.
It makes me feel good to know that you two guys agree on something like it's kind of heartwarming, actually.
I can't recall ever agreeing with anything that Bizarro said. I'm not talking basketball, I'm talking in general. Away from the telecast. Shot clock down to 2, down to 1, and Horry did not realize it.
That's a bad feeling for a coach when you come out of a timeout. You know you've drawn something up, you want to run it. You can see Phil Jackson with his head down there, a little frustrated. You expect to get a good shot when you come out of that timeout.
Especially from such a playoff veteran as Robert Horry.
Lakers 77, Spurs 76. We are early in the fourth. Game 3 of the best of 7. The series tied at 1. Duncan gets the roll. San Antonio has come from behind with 7 unanswered to take a 1-point lead. One of the few spurts that we've seen here tonight. Fox. And the foul. You can see Rick Fox is offensive-minded here in the second half. The foul is called on Smith, his second. Spurs with their third team foul.
Mark, Jeff and I were talking at the half. We kind of left you out of the conversation, but we didn't mean anything bad by it. We were saying one more thing that the Lakers could use would be another guy to dribble penetrate. Kobe's one of the guys that can do it for them. They need another guy to break down some of this pressure.
Shaw, a little scoop by Shaw. Gamble by San Antonio backfired.
And that's the penetration that the Lakers need from someone other than Kobe Bryant.
So the Lakers up by 1. Here's the double on Duncan. Shaw over to help. And they take it out of the hands of Duncan. We saw that take place down the stretch the other night in L.A. Here's Bryant, Kobe Bryant, who has been looking to give up the basketball. Kobe has not shot well the last 2 games. Timeout is called by San Antonio.
Tim Duncan gets put in positions where he has to make decisions versus double teams right there. Instead of giving it up sooner, he holds on to it a little bit longer, and then Kobe with the ability to hang big enough to get a look at the rim.
And this year, the challenge is teams are not intimidated of us or by us. They want what we have, and they're coming after us. They want to be kings of the hill. And for us, it's really about us and what we can do as a team to, keep those people at bay, keep those other teams wishing they had the championship, and that's what it's all about.
Well, this postseason has been a bit different to this point. For the Lakers, last year they went 15-1 in the playoffs. The only lost game 1 of the finals to the 76ers, and that took place out in Los Angeles. Lakers 81, Spurs 78. 5 minutes gone by in the fourth. Parker not able to hit the 3.
A little bit of a gamble that time. You're up 3 points. You come double down on Duncan, and you leave Parker open for a 3-point shot.
Horry took a shot. Foul called on Bowen. That's his 3rd, and the Spurs with their 4th team foul.
Kobe changes direction, and it's right there as Bowen gets caught on the screen as he's trying to recover that we see Horry go down. Now, either Bowen is very, very strong, has taken black belt karate, or he's a terrific actor.
Oh, are you doubting?
No, not me.
Robert Horry? O'Neal rebounded by Duncan. San Antonio with Parker and Smith in the backcourt. Robinson up front with Duncan. And the nice follow by Duncan, who has 25. So the Laker lead is now 1.
That's the risk of playing a David Robinson down the stretch. We saw him miss the offensive rebound where the dunk came out. Air ball's a jump shot that he normally shoots very well. It's very tough when you haven't played a lot to be in rhythm.
O'Neal, Bowen with the block from behind. Shaq looking around, trying to figure out who got him from behind.
And looking at the 2 outside officials saying, are either one of you going to blow the whistle on it?
Tony Parker's got to protect against the lob to O'Neal right here.
4 on the shot clock. O'Neal did not hit the rim. It's a 24-second violation. With the ball back to San Antonio, just under 6 remaining on the 4th. The Lakers 81, the Spurs 80. They're on their feet here at the Alamo Dome. Biggest crowd of the season. Better than 35,000 on hand. Duncan. And somehow Bryant came away with that loose ball. Bryant played again by Bowen. Here's O'Neal. Robinson has 5. Zach thought he was fouled. Parker for Robinson. Stripped by Horry. Saved by Duncan. Smith way off on that 3-point attempt. Smith tried to steal and now looks to get back into the flow as Bryant spins his way. Fisher for three. Kept alive by Fox. Just under 5 remaining in the fourth. Lakers have a 1-point lead. Here's the back door from Bryant, thrown by Fox.
They had great eye contact that time. Fox knew that Kobe was being overplayed on the right wing. Kobe changed direction. A beautiful lead pass.
And Duncan was guarding him because Smith gambled in the backcourt in transition. They were mismatched all over the floor.
Oh, look out. Duncan and Horry got involved. Horry upset. Remember, he took that shot from Bruce Bowen just a moment ago that you doubted, Czar, and now he is upset because he got slapped in the mouth.
I would have called a double foul.
Yeah. Tim reaches over, hits him right there, and then you see Robert continues to pull the arm down, which really concerned Duncan that time because he had his elbow in a position that it very easily could have been hyperextended.
Foul's called on Horry. That is his 5th. So Horry with 5. Fox been able to hang around with 4. Robinson has 5 fouls.
Mark, you know, being sympathetic to the situation before when I mentioned that Robert Horry may have been active. Remember, he has had those abdominal problems that they've been treating. So
Are you doing a little 360 here?
Well, I want to be fair. I read my medical notes.
Sympathetic? That's a word you have no comprehension of. Smith not able to hit. He's been off on the back tap. Kicked around. Fisher diving for it. Duncan on Fisher. And let's see what they call. NF Rush says jump ball.
It's great to see the MVP of the league on the floor for loose balls.
Both teams want to win desperately this critical game. Hitting the floor, Fisher all-out dive, brings Duncan on the floor, and then I love when it gets testy.
And this is called a jump ball. Eric Fisher going up against the 7-footer, Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan's going to find 2 white shirts that are together. He's going to try and drop that ball right in between them with the decided advantage here. So we're talking about between Malik Rose and Bowen, most likely.
And it's Salvatore trying to line up the players. That's a tough toss, but San Antonio.
That was a great recovery on a bad toss.
San Antonio able to control, coming up on 4 minutes remaining on the fourth. Lakers lead by 3. Duncan met by O'Neal. And Fisher with the steal. Here's Fox ahead of the field. San Antonio scoreless the last 2.5 minutes. Remember, they had that 7-0 run to get back in.
And that's what you can get when you fight the post entry pass. Instead of just letting passes into the post, fight it, deny it, make it hard on them.
Duncan. Parker finds Bowen for 3. Rebounded by Fox. 3.5 remaining on the fourth. Lakers with an 85-80 lead. Bryant taking to the rim. And a foul is called. San Antonio is now over the limit.
Your star players make the huge plays. They get your baskets. They get the ball to the rim. They make decisions with them. Your role players do the great hustle plays like Rick Fox just did at the other end to come up with that ball for the Lakers.
And Kobe Bryant has not spent much time at the foul line. 2 shots the other night, 0 for 1 this evening.
Going back to the previous play, Bowen misses a wide open shot. He comes back, and this happens time and time again. A little bit of frustration. He gets out of position defensively and then fouls Bryant. Guys have to let one play go and move right on to the next play.
Kobe Bryant has pulled it back in the second half. He had 20 shot attempts in the first half. He's had only 8 in the second half. 25 points for Bryant. Lakers up by 6. 3:15 remaining in the fourth. Parker, yes. 86-82, Los Angeles. Parker has 24.
Remember, you're talking about the mobility with Shaquille and trying to help out on those screens, and he has the problem with the big toe, so you have to make a decision how you're going to play him. The Lakers' decision, they're playing him very loose on those screens.
Bryant over Bowen, yes! A clutch shot for Kobe Bryant, who's 3 for 3 from the field in this fourth quarter.
That's just greatness right there. Create space, elevate over one of the best defenders in the game in Bruce Bowen.
Lakers have a 6-point lead. Parker fouled before the shot attempt. The basket will not count. But the Lakers only their second team foul. It's on Fisher, his fourth. And Kobe Bryant has taken over here in the fourth quarter. The beautiful alley-oop. Strong finish by the Lakers. We have 2:34 remaining, and the Lakers up by 6 points.
Kobe's given us an assortment of off-balance shots because of his ability to hang in the air or change direction against a bigger, much slower Tim Duncan. And then Rick Fox is rewarded after all the hard work with an easy lead pass for a breakaway two.
And it's been another adventurous or tumultuous night for the Lakers. I'm told earlier there was a disagreement on the bench between Phil Jackson and Shaquille O'Neal. Phil was not happy with Shaq's rebounding, called a timeout. Shaq was upset with what Phil had to say and actually was calmed down by Kobe Bryant. Now, that never happened to you guys on the bench, did it?
No.
Heat of battle. Heat of battle.
Happens to every NBA coach.
Robinson is stripped and fouled. So David Robinson will go to the line, fouled by Shaquille O'Neal. That's 3 on Shaq. Robinson to the line for the first time. I think that people are surprised that he's played as much as he has. 22 minutes, 3 of 7, 7 rebounds.
You know, Marv, you mentioned that incident that you heard about. Jeff and I did.
So did you.
You may have heard. But anyhow, the incident on bench. The key to the whole thing is that happens to all teams. That the coaches and certain players at times will have something to say. It's, do you have the ability to move past it, put it behind you, move on and forget it, and understand what the most serious thing is.
Oh, Kobe Bryant taking it away from Bruce Bowen. The feed for Robert Horry. Another magnificent play by Bryant, and the Lakers lead by 8. It's their biggest lead of the night.
Going to the line to cut it to 4, missed 2, transition basket, takes it to 8.
Duncan, who was flawless early on, now having difficulty putting the ball on the floor, but he was held. Fisher picks up number 5.
Fisher has a great sense of timing and anticipation in his help defense on Duncan, and is really attacking his dribble as he backs in or faces up and goes to the basket.
Well, they called it a non-shooting foul. 14th foul on the Lakers. Robinson for Duncan. Rebounded by O'Neal with just 1:45 remaining on the fourth. Bryant. The Lakers actually wanted to use some time, but Kobe saw the opening and extends to the biggest lead of the game for either team. Lakers up by 10. A 15-4 run by the Lakers. The Spurs call for time with 1:40 remaining in the fourth. Presented by Hyundai, Ernie, Kenny, Charles, and special guest Jalen Rose of the Chicago Bulls. Scores and highlights from the Celtics and the Pistons, who had that 66-64 ball game won by Boston. And a look back at what has taken place here tonight in San Antonio. Lakers now lead by 10. 1:35 remaining on the fourth. Here's Smith. That's a two-pointer. He had the foot on the line.
Jeff, the ball goes to Shaq right now. Do you foul immediately?
Yeah, I'm going to foul him. That's the only way. You don't have enough time run off the clock. And you've got to double Bryant. Get it out of his hands. Can't just let him go 1-4 along the baseline.
And now the Lakers using the clock. Bryant working it down. 5 on the 24. Kobe being played by Rose. and is able to hit. Kobe Bryant with a spectacular finish. 31 points, and he's done his damage here in the fourth quarter. A minute remaining. Duncan launching from downtown. That's not his shot. Rose with a good play. There's Parker for three. Rebounded by Fox with just 51 seconds remaining in the fourth. The foul given by Smith.
You see Fox took that ball and cradled it, covered it up because he knew the first pass was an ill-advised pass. They didn't need that fast break layup at the time. He wound up getting it deflected and lost the possession on it. Could have been an easy three that time for San Antonio.
I think you have to be so impressed with the Lakers and their response to the loss in Game 2. San Antonio came out and played a very, very strong first three quarters. And the Lakers, with great defense, superior offense by Bryant down the stretch, took command of the game. I think San Antonio did all they could. I just think it's a difference between having one star on San Antonio and two stars with the Lakers.
Yeah, and the two stars are huddled at the other end of the floor right now for the Lakers. And Kobe just went up to Shaq and kind of looked down and said something about his finger. And the one thing the big man did tonight was he got him rebounds, he got him boards of 15, he put 22 points up there, but he put minutes up for him tonight. It was doubtful, questionable how many minutes he was going to be able to play. He gave it to him.
And Kobe Bryant with 11 of his 31 here in the fourth quarter. Here's Duncan again from downtown. They have not been hitting the three. They were 1 for their previous 11. Tim Duncan during the regular season hit only 1 3-pointer, 1 for 10 from beyond that 3-point line. And the foul is called. So the Lakers now lead 95-87, only 36 seconds remaining. Danny Ferry called for that foul. Spurs have been over the limit. Phil Jackson can breathe a sigh of relief coming off the loss at home on Tuesday in Los Angeles. And tonight's Gatorade Player of the Game is Kobe Bryant. 15 of 31, and there's no question that he changed his whole tone in the second half. If they're firing away from all angles in that first half.
I thought he took the ball more to the basket, got in the low post, got easier opportunities, and also did some good work in getting others opportunities as well.
Yeah, there weren't a whole lot of other people creating shots out there. I mean, Shaq is struggling. We know that. We've talked about that. And Kobe took it upon himself, and he's got to make some things happen.
Walker not able to hit. He thought he was fouled. Now Fox is fouled by Ferry with 27 seconds remaining. So game 4 will take place here in San Antonio on Sunday night. Seen on NBC, and then game number 5 back in LA on Tuesday. That'll be a TBS telecast. You see, 5:30 Eastern time start on Sunday. Game 5 back in Los Angeles on Tuesday. And game 6 and 7 if necessary.
So you go back now to practice tomorrow for the Spurs, and is the mood one of dejection? Is it one of where you feel like, hey, we can get this next game on Sunday coming up and even this series once again? What would you say it'll be?
I think they should take heart from the fact that they played very well. Duncan did not have an MVP-type game, and they still hung in there until a great performance by the Lakers in the fourth quarter. So I think Greg Popovich's job is to create an upbeat atmosphere tomorrow while making some corrections.
It's not like this has been a runaway for the Lakers.
Mentioned Duncan, just 9 for 26. Did have 12 rebounds, 9 for 10 from the field, 28 points. And the Lakers just running out the clock. So the Lakers defeating the Spurs 99-89. And they now lead this best of 7. 2 games to 1. Kobe Bryant, the high point man, 31 on 15 of 30.